That night of my birthday, I had been waiting for Alexander Wilson at a restaurant until 10:30 p.m. He broke the date with me again. Seeing the photo posted on Camilla Bridges' Instagram caused no emotion inside me. At right that moment, I found myself willing to let everything go. Alexander reserved a table for two at that restaurant. Last month, on Camilla Bridges' birthday, Alexander took her to see the sunrise by the sea. I questioned him furiously, but he complained that I was being oversensitive. He explained that he went out with his friends to the beach, not just him and Camilla alone. For this, we fell into a cold war for half a month. Yesterday, Alexander texted me that he had reserved a table and invited me for dinner. I know he was offering an opportunity to make peace. Every time we argued or fought, it would always be me who started to speak to him, breaking the ice. He then would give me a gift or show some care after we restored the normal relations. Even a single sweet word from him would make me happy for a whole day, and I would forget about all the displeasure and resume my enthusiasm for him. The above process repeated itself for the past years. It was like if he slapped me, I would still forgive him for giving me candy afterwards. He took the whole control of our relationship. I was like a kite flying in the sky, but the string was gripped tight by his hand. My emotions depend on his emotions. I am the one to blame for what I have been reduced to, because I lost my dignity when loving him. Yesterday, he invited me for dinner, but I found myself not as excited as I used to be. If I'm still who I have been, the fact that he still remembered my birthday will flatter me. After all, for my past birthdays, I had to remind him endless times so that he would remember to buy me a gift or something. I even forgot my birthday myself this year, and it really surprised me that Alexander took the initiative to mention it. Only when I received his text at work yesterday did I realize my birthday was around the corner. Then I replied to him, "Good. See you tomorrow night." Locking my phone, I returned to work, not feeling anything just because he contacted me. Today, off work, I get a message from Alexander reading, "See you in the restaurant." I arrive at that restaurant first. The set time is 7 p.m., and I arrive at 6:30 p.m. I wait and wait. At 8 p.m., Alexander still doesn't come. I call him, but get no answer. I text him, but get no reply. Then, at 9:30 p.m., the waiter asks me if he should serve the food since the restaurant will close at 10:30 p.m. I nod to him. I am chewing the streak without haste and drink some wine. At 10:30 p.m., I walk out of the restaurant. While waiting for the taxi on the road, I catch a photo posted by Camilla on her Instagram. She also wrote, "You are the source of my sense of security." That photo is of Alexander sitting on her sofa in profile. The moment I catch sight of that photo, there is no anger, no grief, and no other emotions. I am calm inside, as if I had already known the answer to the riddle. See? I knew it. He had disappointed me because of Camilla every time. The strange thing is that this time, I don't feel sad at all. Arriving home, I go to sleep after a bath. At midnight, I am in a deep sleep, but the opening door wakes me. I know it must be Alexander. A bit annoyed by the noise, I doesn't open my eyes to pretend to be asleep. I have no interest to talk to him. I can still hear his footsteps near the head of the bed, but he doesn't seem to open his mouth. Though my eyes closed, I can still feel an intense stare from him. What is wrong with Alexander? Isn't he going to take a shower and sleep? Why is he staring at me? I was so confused. Being stared at was really annoying. Could it be that he feels strange that I didn't leave the lights on, angrily sit in the living room and question him like I did before? He should be happy since I didn't go crazy this time. I used to break out, even to the point of losing control, and he would stand beside me and look at me with a pair of disgust and ignorance. If I met his eyes, I knew he was treating me like a crazy clown with his despising eyes. There was a time when he was still willing to explain if I questioned his relationship with Camilla, saying they were just friends. He never left me to break out in a rage like a volcanic eruption until I calmed down by myself. Now I see everything through, and I can let everything go. Thinking about what I have done, I admit I was crazy. I must be very ugly every time I lost control of myself. No wonder Alexander hates me day by day. At this time, I have no desire to ask him anything. All I want to do was sleep. Staring at me for a while, Alexander opens his mouth since I didn't open my eyes. "Charlotte?" I still pretend a deep sleep, motionless. After a while, he finally leaves. I hear the running water in the bathroom. He must have gone to wash up. I didn't expect that I would fall asleep with the sound of the running water and had no idea when Alexander got to the bed. The next day in the morning, I wake up and go to work as usual. For the whole day, I have been engaged in my work, and time flies by so fast. After work, I eat outside for dinner before I go home. Upon taking a step into the living room, I see Alexander sitting on the sofa. "You are earlier than usual today." I takes off my shoes and asks him. "Not busy today," says he. "Good." I nod and put my bag on the hanger on my way to the study. "Charlotte," Alexander stops me. "Your birthday gift. I had already bought, and yesterday—" "Thank you." I takes the pretty box from him. Opening it, I see a delicate bracelet. "It's so beautiful. I like it so much." I smiles at him. "I will start to wear it starting tomorrow." Tuning around, I am held by Alexander by the arm. "I'm sorry about yesterday. I failed to come," he explains. "I was on my way to the restaurant, but I received a call from Camilla. She told me her ex-boyfriend was stalking her again, and she was so afraid. Thinking she was living done, I believe you," I interrupts him. "You are doing the right thing. You can't leave her alone facing the danger. You told me that her ex was a bit erratic. I've heard this already. Now, could you let me go? I still have some work to do." "Charlotte," he still holds my arm. "Yes?" I look at him with confusion. "I haven't had dinner." "Oh, but I have. Why don't you order some food yourself?" Saying this, I struggles out of his grip and go straight to the study. The moment I sit down in the study, I hear a bang of the door. I walks out, and it seems that he has law. He bought me the gift, took a soft attitude, but I ignored it. He now must be very angry. Alexander and I sparsely speak to each other again. After every argument with him, I would always feel down and rack my brain trying to make nice. But now, I surprisingly feel so relaxed. Alexander sleeps in the guest room at night, leaving me to enjoy the big bed alone. My sleep quality even improves a lot these days. In the morning, I stop getting up early and making breakfast for him, so I have another half an hour of sleep time. At work, Alexander stopped appearing in my mind, and I stopped texting him, making my work efficient. I used to finish my work into the last minute, but now I can complete it in advance. Back at home, I don't need to go to the kitchen to prepare dinner. To make healthy food for him every day, I kept practicing cooking skills, and the first thing I did after I arrived home was to cook for him. But the fact is that he had parties every day, and at most he might come back for dinner twice a week. Stopping revolving about Alexander, I find I get a lot of leisure time. I binge watches a TV series with just 3 nights. At the office, I heard a newcomer say she was preparing for a professional certificate, which made me feel ashamed. Even the younger generation knows to seize the time to improve themselves, while I've just been muddling along without any aim. I blame myself for prioritizing my relationship with Alexander above all else. Since graduation, my only dream was to marry him, but it hasn't come true. My life used to revolve around him. I even thought that if he asked me to be a housewife, I would say yes in a heartbeat. I believed that marriage and kids with him were the only definitions of happiness. Now I come to realize that I am a total loser. I had devoted my whole self to this relationship, but I got no proper reply. He even was willing to give me a marriage. At work, I was in a mess without any progress. The newcomer at our workplace inspires me a lot. Now, I think it is time to make a change. I politely ask my colleague what practice material should I buy, and then start to prepare for the certificate. Every day off work, I will eat outside first, and then dive into studying at home before sleeping. Probably, Alex is still angry with me, and he comes back very late every day. That is good news to me. I can have a quiet and comfortable environment to study at home. During the afternoon break, I play with my phone, and then I find out Alex's updates on his Instagram. There is merely a photo without any words. That photo is of a table on which there are several dishes and 2 sets of cutlery. There is a hand in the corner of the photo, and I know it is Alexander's, for I recognize the watch I bought him. I knew Alexander too well. He must have deliberately posted this photo to tell me that we are having dinner together, which he thinks I will be angry about. The truth is, I've lost my feelings of anger and jealousy. I will never pick up my phone and call to question him in anger now. My eyes stay in that photo for just a second, and then I keep playing with my phone. In the afternoon, I received a phone call from Alexander. "I will pick you up today." His voice was calm, without any emotions. My first reaction was to refuse. "Thanks, but I have to work overtime today. I might get off work late." I lie unconsciously. "When will you get off work then?" he continues to ask. "Well, 8 p.m. I have to keep my lie." "Good. I will wait for you in front of your building at 8. He hangs up the phone quickly. Chapter 3. I can't admit I was lying, so I stay in my office and start to study with the materials I bought. When it is 8 p.m., I pick up my bag and go downstairs. As soon as I take a step out of the building, I catch sight of a familiar car not far away. I walk over, and Camilla, who sits on the front passenger seat, smiles broadly at me. "Charlotte, I have just finished dinner with Alex, and he is now driving me home," she says. "I see," I nod, then open the back door and get into the car. In the past, as long as Camilla was in this car, I had never sat on the front once. For this, I have argued with Alexander endless times, but I can't do anything about it since he was so obviously biased to Camilla. The reason he offered was that Camilla had car sickness. He criticized me for being narrow-minded, but I told him the front seat should be exclusive to his girlfriend. But he just sneered, saying I was unreasonable. I have never won Camilla once. Every time we are in the same car, I will experience depression. Fortunately now, I don't care about this anymore. After a whole day's work and 2 hours of study, I feel so drowsy as I get into the car. "Alex, tonight's shrimp is so great. How about we go to that restaurant next time?" Camilla said excitedly. Alexander replied, "Great, as long as you love it." "But will you get tired of peeling shrimps for me?" Camilla asked with a cute voice. "Of course I won't. I am used to that." "Charlotte, Alex is so good at peeling shrimps. It is because of me that he is so good at that when we were in college." Camilla turned her head to me. "Don't you think you should thank me for this?" Thank her? For what? For Alexander's skill of peeling shrimps? But he never did this for me, I thought to myself. I remember a celebrity said in a reality show that she liked eating shrimps, but she would not eat if no one peeled them for her. After I got together with Alexander, I went to have dinner with him once. I begged him to peel those shrimps for me, but he stopped and looked at me asking, "You can't do it yourself?" I kept silent immediately, since I loved him more than he loved me. I was in a low position in this relationship. Ever since that time, I had never asked him to peel shrimps for me. I raise my head to look at Camilla. It is dim in the car, but I can still see the pride and defiance in her eyes. That's her frequent strategy: provoke me and wait for Alexander to defend her. It seems that she will never get tired of this. But at this moment, I am calm and show no interest in arguing with her. "Well then, thank you for that," I say carelessly. Without achieving her goal, Camilla grits her teeth and then returns to talk with Alexander. Alexander is always gentle and soft when talking to Camilla. Hearing them talking heatedly, I feel my eyelids turn heavy and their voices start to fade. When I wake up, I find myself in the car in front of my residential building, while Alexander sits in the front silently. Camilla is no longer here. Why didn't she wake me up since we arrived? I sit straight and open the car door. Alexander followed behind me, saying nothing still. Walking out of the elevator, he then asked, "Are you tired?" "What?" I don't know what he meant. "I noticed you were sleeping when I was talking with Camilla." "Yes, I'm tired." I show no interest in starting a conversation. I only want to get to bed. Today's dinner was arranged by Benjamin, my college mate. He also invited Camilla since they are friends as well. On my way home, I gave her a ride. Alexander suddenly opened his mouth and explained to me. What a strange thing. I used to keep asking why he was always with Camilla, but he never bothered to give me an explanation. Today, I choose not to ask, but he, surprisingly, takes the initiative to explain. Chapter 4. I know. While nodding, I walked to the bathroom. "I was going to take you to that dinner, but you said you have work to do. Then I decided to pick you up after dinner," he continued to explain. "Yes, I see. I'm going to take a shower." I leave where we are immediately. After a shower, I go straight to sleep. After I get off work the next day, I see Alexander in front of my building again. This time, Camilla is not with him. But I go to the back seat again. Alexander turned his head to look at me, seeming to say something, but finally, nothing comes out of his mouth. I feel quite pleased when I just treat him as my driver. I should have argued with him about Camilla sitting on the front seat. What a big deal. Today, Charles is moving to his new place and he invites us to have dinner at his home, Alexander says while starting the engine. Charles is also his college mate. Alexander and his 3 best mates all stay in NYC upon graduation. They keep a good relationship and often go out to play or dine together. Alexander was one of Camilla's suitors in college, and all his friends helped him to get her. Though the result was that Alexander and Camilla were not together, he and his friends still hung out with Camilla. These years, Camilla has been in several relationships. She said her boyfriend was different from her friend, and that Alexander was always her good friend. Camilla broke up in the earlier days, and then she came back to them again. In the past, every time I saw Alexander taking care of her, my blood pressure would go up. I argued and fought, but it didn't work at all. Since then, I refuse to join their parties anymore. "Have a good night. Could you send me home first?" I ask him. There's not even a bit of me wanting to go to their gathering. Alexander says, We'll be back soon after dinner. It won't last very long. Charles especially says he wants to invite you because he hasn't seen you for a long time. All right, then, I stop insisting. Then we stand in front of Charles's new home. After the doorbell rings, the door opens. Behind the door runs out a person who jumps right to Alexander's back and wraps his neck. She is so quick that Alex even can't stand still, but he seems to get used to the situation and holds her unconsciously. "Ha ha, Alex, you are late. Punish you to do 10 push-ups with me on your back," Camilla says proudly. After Alexander makes his steps steady, he freezes for a while before turning to look at me. Seeing the anxiety in his eyes, I give him a smile. He seems to be nailed to the ground and instantly looses his grip. Then Camilla falls from his back, off guard. She patted Alexander hard and complained, "I was so scared. Why did you let me go?" I know she has always liked turning a blind eye to me. Until now, she raises her head and looks at me in pretentious surprise, exclaiming, "Charlotte, you are here too? I was just kidding. It's just a punishment for people who lost the game when we were together. You won't mind it, will you?" No, I don't mind it at all. You can play whatever you want. I don't care. To be honest, I prefer to watch TV now. Saying this, I pick up the remote control and shift the channels. "Charlotte, you know what? Alex is great. He can do a dozen push-ups consecutively with me on his back." "Really? I don't know that. How about you two do it right now to broaden my horizon?" I put the remote control down and looked at Camilla and Alex with curiosity. "I'll go to the kitchen to help Charles." Alexander suddenly stood up and on his way to the kitchen with an expressionless face. The rest of us remain in the living room staring at each other. During the dinner, I'm sitting to Alexander's left and Camilla to his right. "Oops, I don't like mutton," said Camilla, who put the mutton on Alexander's plate. "It is not new to me that they act so intimately. I'm different now. I won't be angered by this. Charles can cook, so I'd rather bury my head on the plate, eating until I'm full." After dinner, Camilla advises them to play a game together. Thinking I haven't reviewed my materials, I want to go back home. "Have a good night. I gotta go." I stand up. "I'm with you. I will drive you home." Alexander also stands up. "No thanks. I can go home by taxi." I really think I don't need Alexander to take care of me, but I don't know why Alexander's face sinks when he hears what I said. He put on a long face and said with a tough voice, "Go back home now. Right now." "I will go with you two. Would you like to give me a ride?" Camilla asked. Approaching his car, I directly open the back door and get in. Soon I start to review my practice materials on my phone. I have made myself a schedule before the examination, 2 hours a day. I was so busy with work during the day, so I have to use every single minute to study now. I think that after half an hour on the way home, I only have to study for another 1.5 hours at home. Soon, I engage myself in the materials, and it takes me a long time to realize that the environment in the car today is so eerily quiet. "Alex, did you hear me just now? Why didn't you say anything? I am about to be angry." Camilla opens her mouth after a while. Alexander replied, "I am so tired today. Camilla, could you leave me alone? I am driving." Camilla showed displeasure and stopped saying anything. When she gets out of the car, she even deliberately slams the door to show her discontent. Back home, I go right to the study. After half an hour, I go out, and Alexander has gone to the guest room. I breathe a sigh of relief. Ever since the argument last time, we've been living in separate rooms. Alexander is a proud man, I know. If I don't apologize first, he won't come to me. I know that. Now it seems good news to me. In the morning, I walk out of my bedroom and don't expect him to have gotten up. "You wash up first. No need to hurry. I will drive you to work." Alexander looked out on the sofa. "Thanks. I will go with my colleague. He will take me there." I am walking out of the apartment, followed by him. "Let me drive you to work. You don't have to bother others," he says. "I am not bothering. I pay him for driving me to work," I says. After Alexander bought his car, he indeed drove me to work for a period of time, but gradually he started to get tired of it, for my company is not on his way to work. He thought I was wasting his time then. "How about you go to work by metro? I want to sleep a little longer in the morning." This is what he had said to me. Ever since then, he hadn't driven me to work once. Well, he has more excuses for not picking me up after work, including colleagues' gatherings, hanging out with friends, and working overtime. Anyway, he didn't want to pick me up. There was a time when one of my colleagues asked if anyone needed to take a ride, but not free, since we were on the same way to the company, so then I took a ride in his car instead of taking the metro, which saved me more time. As for the way home, I had to pay $200 more if I took a ride back, but I thought I did not need to hurry to go home, so I went back home by metro, which saved me some money. Alexander walks with me to the gate of our residential meeting and watches me get into my colleague's car. Sitting down at my desk, I receive a message from him. "Only you and your colleague are in his car?" I replied, "Yes, only the two of us are on the same way home. Why not let me drive you to work in the future? People might gossip about you two if you keep arriving at your company together at the same time." "They won't. Didn't you say you want to sleep a little longer?" "Starting tomorrow, let's get up together," he said. "Let's talk about this next month. I have already paid him for this month's transportation." Alexander stops replying to me. Then I start to focus on my work wholeheartedly. During lunchtime, Alexander texted me again. It is a photo this time. "What do you think of my lunch? Look great." I didn't reply to him. Then he texts me again. "What do you have for lunch?" He really confuses me. Is he sharing his life with me? It used to be me who shared his life with him. If I were to read the whole chatting record between us on my photo again, I would find most of the time it was me who tried so hard to start topics with him. Because I love him, I want to share everything with him. When I encounter a cute puppy, taste a great drink, win my leader's praise, stumble over a stone, and find a new scenic spot, I will share that with him right away, no matter how trivial it is. At the beginning of our relationship, he replied to me every time I texted him. As time passed by, he changed. No matter what I texted him, he would reply, yes, or good. I know those texts I enthusiastically sent him did not even win a glance of his. I felt disappointed at first, and then I got used to it. The very reason is that I love him, and I want to stay with him. Finally, my passion dissipated, and I lost the desire to send him anything. Looking through our chatting records this week, I find I didn't text him once. Today's Friday. One of my colleagues offered to throw a party. I wouldn't join them in the past. When I just started out, I would go out with my colleagues sometimes. But Alexander often went out with his college mates, so he just stayed home for dinner 2 to 3 times a week. There was a time when I was outside having dinner with my colleagues. Alexander called me and asked me where I was. He went back home earlier than usual that day. I felt sorry for him that day. He seldom went back for dinner, and I even missed it. Not to repeat my mistake again and missing the dinner with him, I stopped any activity after work. I would go home early, prepare dinner, and wait for his rare appearance. Because of this, I didn't have a good relationship with my colleagues. Having worked with them for a few years, we were still not friends. Thinking about this for a while, I asked one of my colleagues next to me, "Where are you going for dinner? I'd love to go with you together." This colleague exclaimed in surprise, "I can't believe you will come too. Everyone should go." When I'm getting off work, Alexander calls me. "Charlotte, I'll pick you up later. Let's go to the supermarket together. We haven't stayed at home for dinner for a long time." I'm afraid I can't. I have to go to a party with my colleagues. "But could you?" I seldom take part in activities with them, which already makes me look like an outsider. I interrupt. Everyone on our team has a great time together since no one is absent. I also drink some wine. During the party, Alexander calls me several times, asking me when the party ends and offering that he will come to pick me up. I turn him down, saying I'm not sure when the party ends. I tell him to have a good rest and that I have a great time with my colleagues. "Where are you now? I can wait for you outside. It's already late. I'm worried about your safety." I can't believe this is what Alexander says to me. After all, he once refused to go to the airport to pick me up at 1 a.m. when I arrived from a business trip. His excuse was that he needed to sleep since he had to get up early to work the next morning. He also said it must be convenient for me to get a taxi at the airport, so he didn't worry about my safety at all. Now it's just about 9 p.m. and he's worried about me going back home alone? Do men change so quickly as well? At 9:30 p.m., Alexander texts me that he is outside the restaurant where I have dinner. The dinner ends at about 10, and as I left the door, I caught sight of him. "Did you drink?" He walked closer to support me. "A little wine. I'm not good at drinking at all. A tiny cup is enough to get me drunk." Alexander led me to the front passenger seat and fastened the safety belt for me. When he gets in the car, he doesn't start the engine but comes to hug me. I finally realize how it feels while waiting. "I'm so sorry, Charlotte. I have had you waiting for me for so many times that I won't in the future," said he. I frown and push him away, murmuring, "Drive home, I want to sleep." He strokes my head with a faint smile. "Anything but a drinker. I have to keep a close eye on you in case you get drunk and be used by others." It seems to me that Alexander's body is possessed by another soul. He looks like another person. In our relationship, our roles exchange. He's the more clingy one. He comes to pick me up after work instead of going to parties with his friends. He says he wants to stay home for dinner with me. I tell him I'm preparing for an exam, so I have no time and energy to make dinner for you. He says he will do it. And he really makes it. Every day, arriving home, he goes grocery shopping and then gets himself busy in the kitchen. I have been convinced that Alexander cannot cook, since he has never taken a step in the kitchen for me once. So it really surprises me that he can cook, and cook very well. I realized it was not that he couldn't cook, but that he didn't cook for me. I still remember Camilla posted a picture of him cooking congee. Now Alexander itches to show me whatever he can cook. Different dishes every day. After dinner, he would not let me to wash dishes and plates, but urged me to study. Alexander's thoughtfulness makes me be on pins and needles. I don't have a feeling of relaxation, and all I feel is heightened pressure because he would always knock on my door and ask me if I would like water or some fruit while I'm studying. He's bothering me, and I'm so annoyed. So I think of a way. I lie to him that I have to work overtime these days, and I won't get off work until 8 p.m. The fact is that I study at the office after work. Without his bothering me, I feel calm and am able to focus on my studies. Today, off work, I take out my materials from my bag and start reviewing at my desk as usual. Half an hour later, the whole building blacks out. I go to ask the security personnel, and he doesn't know why either, but someone is checking the circuits now. Collecting my materials, I go to the cafe across the street. Ordering a cup of latte, I sit there for 2 hours study. After that, I run back to my office building. I told Alexander that he didn't need to come to pick me up, but he insisted on coming at 8 p.m. every day. When I walk to the front of the building, I see his car approaching. He's been quite talkative lately, throwing all kinds of topics at me. He asks me how is my work, how is my study, and how I get along with my colleagues. Even if I would rarely reply to him, his enthusiasm would not subdue. But tonight, he is so silent. However, I take advantage of his silence to have a good rest. Walking into the apartment, I take off my shoes, and he finally breaks the silence. You didn't need to work overtime these days, did you? I freeze for a while, then directly admit, you're right. Every day, I drive to your company and wait for you in front of the building. I usually arrive at 6:30 p.m. and then wait for 1.5 hours. But when I arrived today, the building blacked out, and I saw you run to the cafe across the street so fast that I had no time to stop you. I followed you, and you studied there until 8 o'clock. Did you see me then? Why didn't you call me? I'm a little embarrassed. So you are studying at your office all these days, right? Why didn't you study at home? Charlotte, we are not married yet, and you're tired of our home? You would rather stay in your office rather than come back to see me, right? What I did wrong, you tell me. I will correct it. Since he asks, I pursed my lips and says, well, I do think we need to talk about our relationship. Charlotte, it strikes me that I have a business trip in the neighboring city. Alexander interrupts me. I have to get up early tomorrow morning. Let's talk about this when I come back. I don't know if I make a mistake. I can see fear in his eyes. I sigh. All right. Have you packed? Not yet, he says. Then hurry up and pack. I'm going to take a shower. Every time Alexander had a business trip, I would pack for him. But now I lose my patience. That next morning, I watch him, dragging his luggage and walking out of the apartment. I feel more relieved than ever. Let's talk about this when I come back. I don't know if I make a mistake. I can see fear in his eyes. I sigh. All right. Have you packed? Not yet, he says. Then hurry up and pack. I'm going to take a shower. Every time Alexander had a business trip, I would pack for him. But now I lose my patience. That next morning, I watch him, dragging his luggage and walking out of the apartment. I feel more relieved than ever. I don't have to face him and can enjoy quiet time alone. On the third day after Alexander travels for business, I receive a call from Camilla. She tells me that Alexander caught a bad cold and is now on a drip at the hospital. During the lunch break, I go to that hospital by taxi. Alexander is wearing a pale face on a drip. From his appearance, I can tell his sickness is serious. Aren't you on a business trip? I walk to his side. Alexander opens his eyes in surprise and then avoids me when he sees me. Charlotte, what are you doing here? Who tells you I'm at the hospital? It is me. Camilla walked into the room with a cup of hot water. She looks at me and says righteously, what did you do to Alex? He didn't even dare to go back home, but stayed in Charles' place. How can you do this to him? You go too far. I turn to look at Alexander. You are saying you were on a business trip. Alexander doesn't look into my eyes and says in a weak voice, I'm sorry, Charlotte, I lied to you. I didn't take a business trip. Now I come to realize that he has been avoiding me because he knew that there was something wrong with our relationship. He questioned me why I lied to him for studying at my office, so I had planned to take that opportunity to have a serious conversation with him about our relationship. Then his excuse for avoiding talking with me was that he needed to travel for business. He would rather stay in his friend's place than face me and talk about the issue between us. Alexander, avoiding is not an effective method to deal with the problem, you know? We need a talk, seriously, I tell him. Yes, I know, but could you wait until I get better? He says with begging eyes. Sure, I nod. Have a good rest. I'm going to work now. Charlotte, aren't you staying? He looks at me with puppy dog eyes. It is just a cold, I say coldly. You're an adult. You don't need me to take care of you like a baby, right? Hearing this, Alexander turns stiff and raises his head to look at me with a jerk. From his miserable eyes, I can tell he knows what I mean. What I said to him just now is right what he had said to me. Last year's winter, I got a high fever and went to hospital for treatment by myself. At the hospital, people around me all had company, but I was alone, and I couldn't help but call Alexander, asking if he could come and accompany me. He turned me down with a cold voice. You're an adult. You don't need me to take care of you like a baby, right? It is just a cold. What a big deal. From the other end of the phone came noisy music, and I could hear Camilla call him, Alex, your turn to sing a song. While I was catching a bad cold, he was singing with his friends. At that moment, I felt freezing cold all over my body, especially my heart. But I was no good. A few days after our Cold War, I forgave him again, as I had done before. On his sickbed, Alexander must have thought of his indifference to me, and he apologizes with a trembling voice. I'm so sorry. What came out of his mouth was like a sharp knife stabbing my heart, but he didn't know about my pain at all. Only when this very knife turns to stab him does he realize that words can kill people. Alexander is the kind of people who would never feel other people's feelings until he experiences it himself. Camilla is standing next to us, and it seems that she can't bear it anymore. She looks at Alexander with care and comforts him. You are sick now. She, as your girlfriend, doesn't care about you at all and is even about to leave. Why did you apologize to her? I smiled faintly. See, without me, there is still someone who cares about you. I am not as cold-blooded as you. I will take good care of Alex, Camilla shouts at me. I'm speechless and turn to leave. Alexander doesn't come back home tonight. He texted me he will still temporarily stay at Charles's home and will talk with me about our relationship when he gets better. In fact, I have already made up my mind. As for my relationship with Alexander, I am going to break up with him. It is easy to say break up, but so difficult for me to carry it out. I have been with Alexander since I was a junior in college. Now it has been 5 years since we graduated. Our relationship lasts 7 years long. In the first several years, we truly loved each other, and this relationship brought much happiness. During my college years, our footsteps were left on every corner of the city. NYC witnessed our sweet past, and so did every scenic spot where we traveled together. In the graduating year, we helped each other to improve our resumes and hunted for jobs together. When both of us landed a job, we went to climb the mountain, on the top of which we drank, sang, and had fun together to celebrate. After renting the house, we decorated it with care and dreamed about the great prospect for us. During that period, I was happy every day. Since when did our relationship change? Probably since Alexander's love for me was no longer firm. Precisely since Camilla appeared in our life again. During my college, I heard of Camilla's name. At that time, I was in the same apartment with Alexander in the Students' Union. Though we were not in a romantic relationship, we had a close relationship. I heard from his friends that he was hunting Camilla's steps. Since Camilla and I had different majors, I had never seen her once. In my eyes, Alexander was an excellent and capable man who became the leader of our apartment in my sophomore year, candidate for the president of the Students' Union. He performed well academically and won the scholarship every year. He was also a righteous and responsible man. In an activity held by the Students' Union, another student in our apartment made a mistake, but Alexander stood up and took the responsibility. Every time I encountered a problem in life or at work, I would turn to him for help. He was always patient with me. Thinking about it retrospectively, it must have been that time when I started to like him. Apart from these good qualities, he was also a good-looking man with a tall figure and a perfect face. In my eyes, he was a perfect man who I would always have a crush on. But such a perfect man couldn't get Camilla after 2 years of pursuit. After Camilla entered into a romantic relation with another man, I could see Alexander turning frustrated, and even his smile carried bitterness. I felt sorry for him and wondered why Camilla didn't like Alexander, who was such a great man. When I was a junior, on an ordinary night, I gathered all my courage to confess my feelings to Alexander after the meeting held by the Students' Union. To much of my surprise, he said yes. Ever since then, Alexander had become more and more spirited and had more smiles on his face. From his gaze at me, I knew he loved me too. Close to graduation, we met Camilla once in college. I didn't know Camilla at that time, but I noticed that Alexander kept staring at her, which aroused my curiosity. After asking him, I knew Camilla was the girl he had been eager to be with. In that encounter with Camilla, she was holding her boyfriend's arm. I quickly understood why Camilla turned Alexander down at the sight of her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was not good-looking and almost as tall as her, but what he was wearing was all from prestigious brands. That was why Alexander lost to him. Alexander was a perfect man, but his family background was average. He relied on his own efforts to gain access to a prestigious college, and his parents were both typical workers. Just a single bag on Camilla's arm would cost tens of thousands of dollars, which Alexander could not afford. Upon graduation, Camilla left UIC. 3 years ago, she returned and started to appear in our life frequently as Alexander's friend. I could feel Alexander was distracted by her from our relationship. No matter when, a call from Camilla could make him leave me right away. I cried, I fought, and I wanted an explanation, which only pushed Alexander away from me. He seemed to get tired of me. I had thought of breaking up with him, but I didn't want to give up so easily. I didn't do anything wrong, and why should I compromise? No matter how intense our fight had been, I never said break up. I was afraid Alexander would really say yes, and then I had no chance to regret it. I knew in my heart that I still loved him, so I didn't want to say goodbye. I thought I would tolerate that forever. What I didn't expect was that one day I would get tired of this relationship. My love for him had been full, but as time passed by, it spilled over the glass like milk, until the glass containing my love was empty. It turned out that my love was not inexhaustible and could be run out of. Realizing he could not stir my emotions anymore, I also realized that I didn't love him anymore. I had no regrets, and I only felt relaxed. I thought a lot before I made up my mind to break up with him. Since I didn't love him anymore, we should separate. I used to believe we would live together until we got old. We would get married and have kids. I have dreamed about our future life endless times. But I might as well stop before I would be hurt more deeply. I am now 28. I am not young, and possibly I might never meet a man who I would love as deeply as I love Alexander. But so what? Life is not only about romantic relationships. I'm not old anyway. I can adjust my steps, and it is not too late to start a new life. As for my relationship with Alexander, I don't regret it. We had a beautiful beginning, and I have experienced the feeling of being loved. In this relationship, I loved, I devoted, and I gained a lot. I don't think it is a waste of my youth. Instead, I believe it makes me become a more mature and more calm woman. I am not afraid to love, and also, I am not afraid to lose. On the second day, and then the third day after we met in the hospital, Alexander didn't come back. I don't know if he's going to avoid me forever. When I'm going to see him and talk in person, my mother calls me. She says my father's leg aches these days. They went to the hospital and had his leg x-rayed. The doctor said it was not serious. I'm still worried about him, so I tell my mother, "Why don't you come to me tomorrow? I will take Dad to a better hospital to have a physical examination. Mom, you should have one too." My parents live in a small county, and it takes more than 1 hour for them to come to the city by train. I take 2 days off and pick them up at 9 in the morning at the train station. The good news is that my dad's aching is not serious, and he just needs a rest. My mother's examination result also shows nothing wrong. There is still 1 day off and a weekend, so I decide to show them around. I book a room in a hotel and take them to go outside and have fun for 3 days. We take a lot of photos. On our way to the train station, I picked a photo of my family and posted it on my Instagram. As soon as I posted it, Alexander's call came. "Your parents come?" "Yes." "Then why didn't you tell me?" "Why should I tell you? If you had told me, I could have shown around the city." "Didn't you say you were not good at dealing with the elders and were not ready to see my parents?" He turned silent on the other end of the photo. "Tonight, let's meet and have a talk. Avoiding can't solve the problem between us." After saying that, I hang up the photo without waiting for his reply. I've been in a relationship with Alexander for 7 years, but we never met each other's parents. When we were younger, we didn't think much about where our relationship would be going. After I turned 25, I started to think about marriage. On one New Year's Eve, I invited Alexander, tentatively, to go to see my parents. He didn't want to, and said it was too sudden for him to visit my parents. Last year's holiday, my parents came to see me, and I asked Alexander to be with us, but he turned me down again, saying he was not good at dealing with the elders and was not ready to see my parents. He also complained to me about my putting pressure on him. Ever since then, I never mentioned my parents in front of him once. Arriving at the train station, there's still a while before the train leaves, so I'm sitting next to my parents chatting to kill time. When the train is about to depart, I walk them to the train. "Charlotte!" A familiar voice came from behind. I turn around and see Alexander holding a lot of gift boxes in his hand. "Mr. Theodore and Mrs. Theodore, I am Charlotte's boyfriend. I'm sorry I didn't come to visit you these days." Alexander smiled without looking at me and continued, "These are gifts for you. I hope you will like them." My parents look at him in surprise and then at me, not sure if what he said is true. "Dad, Mom, time to board. Hurry up, I will explain this to you later." I urge them to leave. My parents boarded with a confused expression. Turning around, I change color and question him. "Alexander, what are you doing here?" "I'm your boyfriend. Since your parents had come, I should have visited them." "Now you want to visit them? This is not what you had said to me before." "Charlotte, I was not mature before, and I have admit my mistake. I apologize to you." "What you did is very rude." I look at him calmly. "Let's go back. I have something to say." Arriving home, I sit and then come straight to the point. "I used to deceive myself that you love me and turn a blind eye to the issue between us. Our relationship has already gone sour, in fact. I've been thinking carefully these days, and now I'd like to announce my decision. That is, let's—" "Charlotte, will you marry me?" Alexander suddenly interrupted me and take out a delicate box from his pocket. He opened the box. There was a shining diamond ring. I freeze for a while. He continues, "The reason why I didn't come back home is that I was thinking about proposing to you. This is carefully selected by myself, and I am sure this is your favorite style." The diamond on the ring is cut in a heart shape, which is indeed my favorite style. I recall when I was flipping through a magazine, I showed a design of a diamond ring to him and asked him how it looked. In fact, I was just trying to know his attitude toward marriage. He then only took a glance and pushed the magazine away from him, saying, "So ugly." I couldn't be more disappointed at that time. Because I really wanted to marry him, and our marriage had appeared in my dream endless times. Today, he's proposing to me, but I'm not excited about it at all. My expectations for him expire. The next day at work, Tyler asked if everything was all right after the previous evening's incident. I shook my head and replied, "It's fine." As he turned to leave, I hesitated for a moment and then said, "Dr. Graham, thank you for yesterday. We're in the process of divorcing, but don't worry, it won't affect my work." His expression seemed to ease up a bit, but he only nodded. Good. In the days that followed, Adrian would pick me up from work every day and cook dinner for me. He would not do anything else, and as soon as I arrived, he would revolve around me. "Madeline," he would say, his voice pleading, "I just want to take good care of you. If you don't like eggplant, I won't buy it next time." "Madeline, please don't leave tonight." Countless times he tried to keep me there, but I still chose to sleep in the dormitory. One day, he blocked my way at the door, his eyes desperate. Then he leaned in to kiss me. I turned my head away, firm in my resolve. "I'm not changing my mind about the divorce, Adrian. Don't waste your time." "Madeline, let's just say I was wrong, okay? Why does it have to come to a divorce? Do you insist on divorcing me because of that man named Tyler? What's your relationship with him?" His desperation twisted into baseless accusations. I pushed him away, my patience wearing thin. "What nonsense are you talking about? He's my mentor." However, he would not let go. "The last time I saw him, I felt like he was looking at you the wrong way. What kind of mentor gets involved in his trainees' marital affairs?" "Adrian, don't look for trouble." His behavior mirrored my past hysteria when I questioned him about where he had been or whether he had been with Sophie again. Looking at it now, I was indeed hysterical and unreasonable. Adrian grabbed me, trapping me in his embrace, and forcefully kissed me. I tasted blood on my lips. In my struggle, I grabbed a glass vase from the dresser and smashed it over his head. Blood streamed down his forehead as he leaned against the wall in pain. I seized the moment to run out. 3 years ago, she returned and started to appear in our life frequently as Alexander's friend. I could feel Alexander was distracted by her from our relationship. No matter when, a call from Camilla could make him leave me right away. I cried, I fought, and I wanted an explanation, which only pushed Alexander away from me. He seemed to get tired of me. I had thought of breaking up with him, but I didn't want to give up so easily. I didn't do anything wrong, and why should I compromise? No matter how intense our fight had been, I never said break up. I was afraid Alexander would really say yes, and then I had no chance to regret it. I knew in my heart that I still loved him, so I didn't want to say goodbye. I thought I would tolerate that forever. What I didn't expect was that one day I would get tired of this relationship. My love for him had been full, but as time passed by, it spilled over the glass like milk, until the glass containing my love was empty. It turned out that my love was not inexhaustible and could be run out of. Realizing he could not stir my emotions anymore, I also realized that I didn't love him anymore. I had no regrets and I only felt relaxed. I thought a lot before I made up my mind to break up with him. Since I didn't love him anymore, we should separate. I used to believe we would live together until we got old. We would get married and have kids. I've dreamed about our future life endless times, but I might just as well stop before I would be hurt more deeply. I'm now 28, I'm not young, and possibly I might never meet a man who I would love as deeply as I love Alexander. But so what? Life is not only about romantic relationships. I'm not old anyway, I can adjust my steps, and it is not too late to start a new life. As for my relationship with Alexander, I don't regret it. We had a beautiful beginning, and I have experienced the feeling of being loved. In this relationship, I loved, I devoted, and I gained a lot. I don't think it is a waste of my youth. Instead, I believe it makes me become a more mature and more calm woman. On the second day, and then the third day after we met in the hospital, Alexander didn't come back. I don't know if he is going to avoid me forever. When I am going to see him and talk in person, my mother calls me. She says my father's leg aches these days. They went to the hospital and had his leg x-rayed. The doctor said it was not serious. I am still worried about him, so I tell my mother, "Why don't you come to me tomorrow? I will take Dad to a better hospital to have a physical examination. Mom, you should have one too." My parents live in a small county, and it takes more than 1 hour for them to come to the city by train. I take 2 days off and pick them up at 9 a.m. at the train station. The good news is that my dad's aching is not serious, and he just needs to have a rest. My mother's examination result also shows nothing wrong. There is still 1 day off and a weekend, so I decide to show them around. I book a room in a hotel and take them to go outside and have fun for 3 days. We take a lot of photos. On our way to the train station, I picked a photo of my family and posted it on my Instagram. As soon as I posted it, Alexander's call came. "Your parents come?" "Yes." "Then why didn't you tell me?" "Why should I tell you?" "If you had told me, I could have shown around the city." "Didn't you say you were not good at dealing with the elders and were not ready to see my parents?" He turned silent on the other end of the phone. "Tonight, let's meet and have a talk. Avoiding can't solve the problem between us." After saying that, I hang up the phone without waiting for his reply. After I turned 25, I started to think about marriage. On one New Year's Eve, I invited Alexander, tentatively, to go to see my parents. He didn't want to and said it was too sudden for him to visit my parents. Last year's holiday, my parents came to see me, and I asked Alexander to be with us, but he turned me down again, saying he was not good at dealing with the elders and was not ready to see my parents. He also complained to me about my putting pressure on him. Ever since then, I never mentioned my parents in front of him once. Arriving at the train station, there is still a while before the train leaves, so I'm sitting next to my parents, chatting to kill time. When the train is about to depart, I walk them to the train. "Charlotte!" A familiar voice came from behind. I turn around and see Alexander holding a lot of gift boxes in his hand. "Mr. Theodore and Mrs. Theodore, I'm Charlotte's boyfriend. I'm sorry I didn't come to visit you these days." Alexander smiled without looking at me and continued, "These are gifts for you. I hope you will like them." My parents look at him in surprise and then at me, not sure if what he said is true. "Dad, Mom, time to board. Hurry up. I'll explain this to you later." I urged them to leave. My parents boarded with a confused expression. Turning around, I change color and question him. "Alexander, what are you doing here?" "I am your boyfriend. Since your parents had come, I should have visited them." "Now you want to visit them. This is not what you had said to me before." "Charlotte, I was not mature before, and I admit my mistake. I apologize to you." "What you did was very rude." I look at him calmly. "Let's go back. I have something to say." Arriving home, I sit and then come straight to the point. I used to deceive myself that you love me and turn a blind eye to the issue between us. Some sentences in this chapter require you to read the complete chapters on joenib.com to avoid an incomplete reading experience. Our relationship has already gone sour, in fact. I've been thinking carefully these days, and now I'd like to announce my decision. That is, Charlotte, will you marry me? Alexander suddenly interrupt me and take out a delicate box from his pocket. He opened the box. There was a shining diamond ring. I freeze for a while. He continues, "The reason why I didn't come back home is that I was thinking about proposing to you. This is carefully selected by myself, and I'm sure this is your favorite style." I recalled when I was flipping through a magazine, I showed a design of a diamond ring to him and asked him how it looked. He then only took a glance and pushed the magazine away from him, saying, "So ugly." I couldn't be more disappointed at that time, because I really wanted to marry him, and our marriage had appeared in my dream endless times. Today, he's proposing to me, but I'm not excited about it at all. My expectations for him expire. "Charlotte, will you marry me?" Alexander looked at me with great affection. "I won't," I say every single word indifferently. Alexander shows no surprise, as if he has expected this from me. He forces an ugly smile and seems to cry. "Is it your birthday?" What? I don't understand what he meant. He continues with difficulty. "On your birthday, I didn't come. The next morning, you didn't make breakfast for me, you didn't text me, and you didn't call me when I was out with friends. You stopped asking me where I was, what I was doing, and when I would go home. When Camilla came closer to me, you didn't get angry anymore. You've changed after your birthday." I shake my head. It is not just because of that. My disappointment has accumulated day by day, and it broke out all on my birthday. The truth is that there has already been something wrong with our relationship. I know I've made a lot of mistakes, and you should be angry with me. Charlotte, I am now begging you to give me another chance. I will change until I become a perfect boyfriend to you, and until you are willing to marry me. Alexander definitely chokes up and continues, "I will make breakfast for you and take you to work and then pick you up after your work every day. I will never allow any woman to sit next to me in my car. If you like eating shrimps, I will take the peeling job. On holidays, let's go to travel together. No matter where you would like to go, I will take you there. I will spend more time staying with you and having meals with you. I promise I will never forget your birthday again, and I won't miss any anniversary." I blink my eyes and look at him, staying silent. He gets more anxious. "I admit, I didn't deal with my relationship with Camilla properly. I promise, I won't see her anymore in the future. I will delete all her contact information and social media." I sigh weakly and then said, "You see, you know quite well what your mistakes are. As my boyfriend, you know what you shouldn't do, but you still did it. When I questioned you, what's your attitude? You looked like you hated me and I disgusted you. It is all because you don't care about me. You think I love you, so you never consider my feelings. You show no respect to me because you believe no matter what you do to me, I won't leave you. Is it what you thought, isn't it?" "I am sorry, Charlotte." Alexander kept apologizing to me. "If love dissipates, the best ending for us is to separate." "No, it is not that. Charlotte, I still love you. I always love you." "You only love Camilla. You give her every shit once, you go every time she needs you, and you give her most of your softness. She is your love," I say. I used to believe I love Camilla and that I have feelings for her, but now I realize I do not. Faced with your departure, I finally realize that you are the one I really love. And the thought of losing you will make me so miserable. It hurts me more than when I knew Camilla had a boyfriend. I found myself so jealous when you got into another man's car. I am so stupid that I didn't know I love you until now. I should have known my feelings for you earlier. As for Camilla, I have to say it is not because I love her, but because of my pride. I just couldn't accept that I was not chosen by her. "But I don't love you anymore," I said with a weak voice. "I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to always sacrifice myself. I am a great woman, and I am worth a great relationship with a man who truly respects and loves me." Alexander holds his head with his hands and squats in desperation. I am going to pack my luggage when the doorbell rings. When the door opens, Camilla rushes in with a bag with an anxious face. "Alex, you block me. I called you, but it never went through. How can you do this to me?" Camilla says while shedding tears, squatting in front of Alexander. "The water pipe breaks in my house, so I have to stay with you." Before I open my mouth, Camilla raises her head with a jerk, saying proudly, This is Alex's house, and you have no right to say no. I am going to say anything, this lady. You can do whatever you want in this house, I say to Camilla, and then go back to my room to pack. Get out of here! Alexander's roar comes from the living room. Alex, you never did this to me before, Camilla says in disbelief. You never yell at me before. I don't want to repeat myself. You are not welcome in my home. Now get out of here. After a few minutes of quietness, I heard the door slamming. I only bring my favorite dresses with me. I pack my everything in just 2 suitcases. Dragging the suitcases out of the room, I see Alexander in the living room, alone. He anxiously runs over and pulls my suitcases back. Don't go! Charlotte, I beg you! Just as I take a step out of the apartment, his voice comes from behind me. You're never going to forgive me, aren't you? I return and say, Goodbye, Alexander. Goodbye, the man who I loved so firmly. After goodbye, it is the parting of ways. I hope we will never meet again.